Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom melamdenu ba'amro. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu taught us in the pasuk in Devarim. I believe this is Parshas Eikev. I believe it's Chamishi in Parshas Eikev. I believe. V'ata Yisrael Mashem Elokecha shoel mi'imach ki im liyiras Hashem Elokecha lelechas b'chol derachav la'abo isoi la'avodas Hashem Elokecha b'chol v'avcha b'chol nafshecha lishmor mitzvos Hashem v'ezchukosav v'chulu. Two psukim over here which spell out exactly what Hashem wants from Klal Yisrael. It doesn't say what Hashem wants from the nations of the world. This is specifically from Klal Yisrael. Hashem wants certain things, and these are not easy things. It's not. If you want to have a relationship with the king, so then you have to be ready to put in a lot of effort. Is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. Of course it's worth it. But don't think that it's so easy. It's definitely not easy. Much easier to do other things. Much easier. You know, we have taibas. A person has taibas. Much easier just to run after your taibas. What? In the short run, of course, it's not only, it's about, for sure, the main thing is to have the relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, but there are a lot of side benefits as well to having the relationship with the king that, yes, it's hard in the beginning, but in the long run, it is much better. Hashem gave us a Torah not only in order to give us a good olam haba, but he also gave it to us so we could have a good olam hazeh. That's how you're gonna have a good olam hazeh too. So yeah, it's the long short road instead of the short long road. The Medrash says that I think it was Rabbi Yeshua that got to a fork in the road, and there was a boy standing there, and he asked the boy, "Which way should I go? This way or that way?" And the boy said, "Well, this is the short long one, and this is the long short one." I said, "What? Like, what are you talking about? This is the shorter road. It's just longer." Is it shorter? He's like, "Yeah, that's the shorter one. Okay, I'm going to go on that one." So he went on it, and it started off nice, but he saw it just came to a point where you couldn't get through. There were so many things in the road, this and that, and he had to come all the way back. And he asked the boy, "Why did you tell me to go on this road? It's impossible. You can't go." He said, "You asked me, and I told you. That's the shorter road. But it's really longer because there's no way you're going to get through. The other way is longer. But it's the shorter way because you'll get through eventually over there." So Rabbi Yeshua said, I learned something from this boy. A lot of times we think we're taking the shortcut to our happiness when really it's not going to lead anywhere. It's not going to get us anywhere. And we put in the hard work, and actually we'll end up much happier and much faster as long as we're willing to put in the work. So all of these things which he's going to go through one at a time as we move along are all things a person has to put an effort in. There's no question. But this is our tachlis in the world. This is the purpose of Klal Yisrael in this world. Yeah, a goy might have a easier life. He doesn't have to work as hard. But he's certainly not going to be as fulfilled. He's not going to have as much sipuk, as much satisfaction in life. He certainly won't. He certainly won't end up with olam haba or olam hazeh. You just do whatever you want in a chanami. Is it easier? Yeah, it's the short long road. But you're never going to end up when you're really with the type of happy life that you want. Hashem wants there to be a world with people, right? Why? Well, just like there are kohanim, and not everybody's a kohen, right? And the kohanim have their place in the world. And no matter what you do, Yisrael is never going to be a kohen. No matter, it's not fair. Korach said that already. It's not fair. What do you mean? We all heard Hashem on Har Sinai. We all are, are kadosh. Why are you giving it to your brother Aaron? We're all special. We all deserve to serve Hashem. Yeah, we do. But we all have different points. We have different purposes in the world. Why did Hashem create birds and fish and animals for? Why did he create all of them? What's the purpose? Kadosh Baruch Hu has a purpose for every single thing that he created. Ultimately, the purpose is going to bring Megala, the Shechina, and there's going to be a great Kiddush Hashem, that the whole world will recognize Hashem. And I think it's actually a bigger Kiddush Hashem for a human being to recognize Hashem than for an animal to recognize Hashem. They have more Bechira. For them is a bigger deal, And the animals, you look at Perek Shira, all the animals say Shira to Hashem, but they don't have Bechira. So now you're going to have to give somebody that has Bechira and he's going to recognize Hashem. That's a big deal. But you still need your Kohanim. You need your Mamlechas Kohanim Goy Kodosh. You need your leaders of the world in order to guide people to Avodas Hashem. So that's what the Jewish people are. They're the Mamlechas Kohanim Goy Kodosh. That's what the pasuk says. So ultimately, yes, we want the whole world to recognize HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what we say. At least Ashkenazim say in the Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur davenings that we talk about how ultimately we want the whole world to recognize Hashem, right? V'timloich Hashem levadcha al kol ma'asecha b'har Tzion mishkan kvodecha. Yeah, we want that when there's a Beis HaMikdash, the whole world will recognize that. The whole world will see, but yet there's still levels. There's still levels of people. And each one is supposed to be mashpia on the one below them. So that the whole world will recognize Hashem. So the Goyim also were meant to recognize Hashem. Bez Hashem very soon they will. V'kan kol chelkei shleimus ha'avoda nirtzis l'shvo yisbarach. Here we can see all the aspects of the shleimus of avodas Hashem. All these 5 things that are listed in the pasuk are a complete avodas Hashem. A person who's doing every single aspect of his life is avodas Hashem. Somebody who can get these 5 things. What are they? Yira, like the pasuk says, ki'im li yira, halicha b'drachav, because the pasuk says alechas b'chol derachav, go in Hashem's ways. La'avo iso, ava, to love Hashem. La'avoid es Hashem alkecha, b'chol levavcha, you should have shleimus alev, your whole heart should be involved in the avodas Hashem. Ushmiras kol mitzvahs, like the pasuk says, ushmarat mitzvahs. These are the 5 aspects of avodas Hashem. That's what the Torah is coming to teach you. What does Hashem want for you? Hashem wants you to keep these 5 things. What are they? So let's talk one at a time. The truth of the matter is, each one of these things is a short little sikum. Later on in the Sefer, not necessarily in this order, right? Because he's going based on the order of the pasuk. But not necessarily in this order, he'll expand on each one of these ideas. Hayira. The first one on the pasuk is Yira. Yira Sarayimus Lisbara. I think we've discussed in the past the different types of fear. I think last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, we discussed this. Yira Sarayimus. There are different levels of fear. There are different types of fear. This is a much higher level of fear. Hashem doesn't want you to be scared because he's going to punish you. Although that is also a type of fear. And to a certain degree, that if you don't have that, then you're really missing something major. What? Right. We discussed this in the Shmir Seinayim Shir, that a person should fear from punishment. But that's not really what Hashem wants. Hashem doesn't want you to fear him because you're gonna punish him. Hashem wants to. That's also, it's true, but that's not the big reason. Hashem wants you to fear him because you see how great he is. You're scared of him not because he can hurt you, but because of you're in great respect and awe of him. In everything that you do, you're embarrassed of his greatness. So certainly, not only when you're doing anything, but also specifically when you're actually doing avodas Hashem, meaning there are 2 aspects over here that he's hinting to. One is that one should fear Hashem when you're involved with something that's directly with Hashem. For example, you're learning or you're davening. So when you're learning or you're davening, you're connecting directly with Hashem. In Sharim B'Tvilah, Rabbi Pinkus says something that's an amazing idea. He says, whether you like it or not, When you're standing in Shemona Esrei, Hashem is right there. Even if you have no kavanah at all. Even if you have no kavanah at all, you're standing in front of Hashem. It's not like, oh, I don't have kavanah, so I wasn't standing in front of Hashem. Hashem is there in front of you when you're down in Shemona Esrei, regardless of whether you have kavanah. What? Yes? Because when you're coming and standing by Shemona Esrei, you're standing in front of Hashem. You can decide to have a talk. You can decide to realize, hey, I'm actually talking to somebody over here, or you could decide not. When you're talking to somebody and you can clearly tell that they're spacing out, you don't really feel like such a connection, right? Right? When you're giving a shiur and everybody fell asleep, it's kind of like, like, what am I doing over here? Why is this happening? Why am I? But it's the same thing. When a person is standing in front of a Kadosh Baruch Hu in Shemona Esrei, you're standing mamish with him. Regardless, again, it doesn't make a difference if you realize it or not. You are. And if you are, maybe it's a good idea to pay attention to what you're saying. Maybe it's a good idea to try to think about it because you actually are. Maybe. Think about it a little bit. Maybe it's a good idea. With Talmud Torah, it's also like that. When it comes to Tefillah and Talmud Torah are kind of like the opposites of each other. When we're saying we're in Tefillah, we're standing in front of Hashem and we're talking to Hashem. When we're learning Torah, Hashem's talking to us. Hashem, you want to know what Hashem wants? Here, he's telling you. He's speaking to you. He's telling you exactly what he wants. He wants you to know that if you want to have a circular sukkah, it has to be this and this size. And he's going to tell you that if you want to have a lulav, then it has to be this big, and it has to be this kind of palm branch, and it has to be... Hashem is actually talking to you. Even if you don't, Hashem is with you. Hashem is there, and he's actually talking to you. Whenever you're learning, that's what Talmud Torah is. And the Mishnah also says, when a person is sitting and learning, Hashem also comes down to hear you talking. There's a direct connection when you're sitting and learning with Hashem. You're connecting to Hashem. So that, when we recognize that, that's already one form of yira. If I recognize I'm with Hashem, I'm with Hashem. How could I? If I was talking with somebody else, I would space out like that. If I was with a client and he's telling me something that he wants, and he can clearly tell that I'm not paying attention at all to what he's saying. So then, he's not gonna want to use you. So we have to have that recognition. And once we have that recognition, it's easier to see, wow, Hashem is so big. But okay, this is just the beginning. And then what he said right before that, I mean, all the time. That's a much higher level of yira, is that you're thinking that you're with Hashem all the time. Not only when you're actually engaged in some kind of connecting activity with Hashem, not just Torah and Tefillah, or, by the way, included in Torah and Tefillah, he brings later on in the Sefer, included in Torah and Tefillah is when a person has an nisayon. When a person has an nisayon to do an aveira, and he overcomes that nisayon because of his fear of Hashem, that's in the same category over here as a yiras haroimimus of Torah and Tefillah. It's in the same category. The other level, the higher level, is when you're thinking about Hashem regardless of what you're doing. Even if you're not in a situation of a nisayon, even if you're not learning Torah, even if you're not davening, you're always with Hashem. That's a much higher level of yira. So that's the first thing he says over here. It's a goal. It's a goal in life. Nobody is expected to start off like this. Nobody is expected to start off on such a high level. When he talks about these yiras haroimimus, he brings it much, much later in Midas Chasidus, when he talks about these things. But we can say lifelong goals. It's a great thing to have. I don't have to finish this right now, but I have a goal, and if that's my goal, I want to get on the road to get there. I want to take the short road, but it's a long road, but it's much shorter if I get on it now. If I don't get on it now, it's going to be even longer than that. If I try to take the shortcut, it's not going to end. Take the long short road. Get on it now. It's big. It's very high. It's very, very far away. But I'm getting on there. As long as you start, then you got a chance of getting there. If you get on the wrong road, who knows you'll ever get there. If you don't ever start, who says you'll ever get there? So a person has to have this as a she'ifa. He has to say, this is my goal. Why should it be my goal? Because Hashem said, this is what I want from you. It's very clear. Hashem says, what do you want? God, what do you want from me? Here, he said it right here. Just open up a Bible. That's it. I'll tell you exactly what he wants from you. No, I'm not doing anything until you tell me. That's what the Chovas L'Labava says is a fool. He's a fool. I be talking, Hashem, you're going to tell me what I should do. You're going to tell me what I should do. He's a fool. Why is he a fool? Because Hashem already told you what to do. He already told you what to do. Why don't you just look? Why don't you tell? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Something, lightning to strike? What are you waiting for? Hashem told you exactly what he wants. So why don't we do it? Why don't we start? It's too big. It's too big. Okay? It's too big. That's the person who says it's too big never starts. You're right. It's a long road. But it's even longer if you never start. Okay, we'll stop over here. So.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.